Hi, Gabby.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
Great.
Excellent.
Busy day.
Oh,
So
I hear you. Where are you located?
I'm in New Hampshire.
Okay, wonderful.
How
Yeah,
about yourself?
I'm in Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Little,
Just
I've never been to Kansas or like really spent much time in the Midwest, but it's on my
yeah.
list.
Okay, yeah.
I'd
People
be
are
like,
always surprised. There's a lot of arts. There's a lot going on.
yeah,
Yeah,
art, music.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good hub. It's always surprising whenever people come here. They're like, "Yeah, I had a great time. I loved it."
Yeah.
So it's a
I'm
good thing.
I'm like, sure, I will love it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So, what I want to do before we get into your life and helping people figure out their finances
Mm.
and so much more is that how did you get through COVID? How did you survive that 3 year period? And how has it changed the way you do things now?
Yes. I think COVID was one of those life moments. Um, kind of like having having my children,
Yeah.
which brings into perspective your priorities in life.
Yeah.
When you can't do something, when you're like forced to stay home, or when you're forced to like live in the same four walls, I think you have more time to think about, right? And be more intentional with your time, with your energy. Um, and so COVID is it's kind of when the Prophet Mama, like when the journey began, I didn't want to keep working until midnight and having my kids home and right, like working for somebody else. Uh, and so that dream started. Before COVID, I never, I never thought to dream about having my own business or what that freedom and flexibility, financially what that would look like. But I had little pieces, right? That now that I'm doing what I love, helping people, business owners, right? Other parents and caregivers, students. I'm teaching at my alma mater. Now I see how all of those pieces fit together into something that I never knew I
Yeah.
was meant for.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So let's get to the essence of exactly what you do. So I'm
Yeah.
going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day. And
Yeah.
one of the kids looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you explain that?
That's a really great question. In terms of third graders,
Uh,
my daughter's going into kindergarten, so I don't really remember what third grade is like, but I help people live the life they've always dreamed of by designing their business and relationship with money in a way that supports that dream.
okay. That makes sense. That makes total sense. That's a great way. It's almost like a Twitter kind of explanation.
I know I need
So
to go back to this interview and then go write that right on my LinkedIn everywhere.
exactly, you do. It was great. So what did you want to be in the third grade when you were that young? What
I
was your
wanted to
dream?
be a teacher.
Okay. All right. Well, you are. I mean, you're teaching people. I mean, that's
Mhm.
all part of the process. So take me back to childhood. Where were you born and raised? And what were these seeds that were put into you to become somebody that helps people get their dream?
Yeah, I was born and raised in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I was took a high school class on accounting and was good at it. So I was like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing. Isn't it
Yeah.
so interesting how those like, those little things set you on a path
Yeah.
um, for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And I moved to Portland, Maine for a little bit, moved to Boston for a little bit, had my children, was working in financial audit and corporate accounting, and realized that I was always hitting this culture wall.
Yeah.
I was always trying to prove and emphasize the value of relationships, and on the side helping people with their money budgeting and um, talk being more confident talking about money. And when I started doing CFO consulting during COVID, I realized that business owners need more than bookkeeping and historical projections. And really got clear on who I loved to work with,
Yeah.
right? What I love, what lights me on fire, where my energy seems to be replenished.
Yeah.
And that was working with other women and especially other parents. Being in that space myself, there is so much of my daily life of, right, who I am, taking up who I am, related to what I have to do to parent and to, live each day with intention as it relates to spending my time wisely, right? And how I choose to with my kids and my partner. And so that really put me on this path of how do I help? What do I have? What do I love to do? What do I have to give? What do people come to me for? And helping other people talk about money, change their relationship with money in order to unlock their own path to
Yeah.
financial freedom and confidence, and building the business to serve that lifestyle that they've always dreamed of, that they probably started their business for, but then got sucked in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So who's been kind of a hero for you, an inspiration for your life and your work?
That is a great question. I think that comes to, I am an avid reader. Like I always say, one day, I'm going to take a year sabbatical from my own business and just read every day because
Yeah.
I can never get enough. And or like go on a meditation retreat for a year.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say I have one specific hero. The people that are not afraid to talk about feelings, their emotions, their struggles and challenges as business owners. I think that's where, when we share our vulnerabilities, the like connection and growth happen. And so, I have a laundry list of books, authors, speakers that I really connect with and I go back to often to ensure that I'm spending my energy in a way that is true to me so that I can attract people that I want to work with and help.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. If you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now, who would
Yeah.
it be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Right now,
Right
at
now.
this very moment, I would love to talk to Glennon Doyle.
Okay.
She wrote this book called Untamed.
Okay.
And even though it is not my like story, it felt like she was telling my story, right?
Yeah.
I didn't, no spoiler alerts, but I didn't divorce my husband to go marry like a FIFA soccer player.
Yeah.
Is FIFA anyways, but I felt really connected
Yeah.
to her story and the way she writes, and the mindset messaging behind it. So right now she is on my would love to meet and talk to.
Absolutely. So speaking of somebody like that, that's highly driven as an author, what's the motivation for you? What gets you out of bed? What gets you to do your job and to do it as well as you can?
Am I the only person who gets emotional on that? Right. The like obvious answer is my children.
Mhm.
But it's because I feel like I had people in my life that helped me change, right, my path, my trajectory. And I hope to be that person for other women in business who are feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling like they can't see the light, who are feeling like they have so much to give and they are stuck. And I want my daughters to see that everything that is possible for them, they can create for themselves.
So this is best illustrated by asking this question. What's one of your favorite client success stories? Something that always puts a smile on your face, someone you helped.
So one of my favorite client success stories is a nutritionist who came to me because she was working her own nutrition business with her own private clients. She had gone through this whole journey of trying of her own, chronic illnesses and diagnoses with nobody to help her. And she went through schooling, right, clinical nutrition, medical school, in order to share with other people what has helped her herself, right, live the life that she always knew was available to her, but the space told her otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Like the classic medicine or doctors, whatever you call it. And at that time, she was running her business from her own bank account, personal bank account. She was not only seeing clients, she was also working retail and as an office admin in order to make all the ends meet. And we started working together. We got her everything, so her system set up. We got her right, like mindset running and shifted, unlocking her own money mindset. Talked about her prices in order to understand how her self-worth, self-value was connected and blocking her right on a path to profitability because she didn't feel like she was worth or deserved to charge what she needed to and to charge her value. And now she is working her nutrition clients, has been able to not work other jobs to make ends meet, has gone viral on social media, and sees the light again.
Yeah.
And is able to reconnect with her why of servicing people who have felt disregarded by traditional medicine. And so that has been one of the most exciting things to see her journey.
Excellent. So speaking of the journey, if you were to have a dream tonight and you ran into a 20-year-old version of yourself, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the knowledge and the wisdom you've gained in your life up to this point, what would you tell that younger version of you?
Be more you. I think that often, especially with our culture of social media, we are conditioned to want to be like everybody else. And that kind of stops us from living authentically us. And I think it, blocks a lot of energy, and starts to whittle away at your own self-image and self-worth, and makes a lot of things that you dream about feel unavailable. And so I think to be as you can be, right, unlocks more things than you can imagine, and attracts the people that you need in your life to make those things happen.
So I didn't mean to leave reading that quick, but what was the first book that you ever read that really opened the door to you to say, I really want to read as much as I can? The first book you fell in love with?
So I started volunteering at my local library when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So that's a really hard question. The first, like, as the going way back, the first book was The Secret Garden.
Okay.
My favorite genre, though, to read, besides beach reads in the summer when you just need a quick one to get through, my favorite genre is historical fiction, like
Yeah.
World War II era.
Yeah.
Besides all the, right, like self-development, professional development, business development books that I love. I try to alternate. So I'll do like you can only process so much.
Yeah.
So I try to alternate with a fun and a like self-development book.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Yeah. You don't want to get too flooded with one thing for sure.
Right. And then you want to do all of the things at once, and then
Yeah.
you end up getting nothing done.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. So let's get to the heart and soul of you. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you're in control of your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am?
Who do you think you are?
I love these questions. Can I just
Good.
say, I've never been asked any one of these questions.
Wow.
I'm taking a moment.
Yeah.
I've, the past 2 years, I love doing podcasts. So I've been on a number, and these are all new. So I love that
Yeah.
you're asking, but I'm going to pause and think about that.
Sure.
Who do I think that I am? Wow. I think that I am a relationship driven, empathetic, caring person who is most lit up when I can share and help um, those that I love, and I'm not afraid to give love. Uh, I don't know, is that too high
That's
level?
great. No, 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 that's great. And that's the thing. This question opens it up where it almost seems like it should be a PhD dissertation, but sometimes the brevity, you've been really good at Twitter speak. You've been really good at like getting to the point. So
I'm gonna put all of this on Threads right
that's what I'm
after this.
saying.
I'm gonna
It's just
transcribe
it's
it.
going to be this big origami of words just kind of floating around.
Right.
So let me ask you this. What's the best advice you've ever gotten in your life?
Do it now. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Messy action is better than perfection. Progress over perfection. All of those things. I used to think that I was a type A, right? Like I used to think that I had this box that I lived in. Type A, right? Accountant, all firstborn, right?
Yeah.
Capricorn, like all of these things, right? All of these labels that I thought put me in a box. And I think breaking out of those rules, out of those boxes, asking ourselves really like why, or why not? Why not now? Uh, what if it works out, right? Like all of these things, take messy action, do it now, learn and continue.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you could witness one event that happened on this planet at any point in time with your own eyes, what historical thing would you love to have witnessed with your own eyes?
Mm. Few things come up for me.
Okay.
One of them is like the first time. a human went into space.
Yeah.
The like space-time universe
Yep.
is very intriguing to me.
Oh yeah.
And it feels like so far away or like so unknown that I feel like that would be cool. Or like to be on the moon when the first person landed on the moon.
Yeah.
And the second thing, right, like I love the World War II genre, like the Berlin Wall, or any of the liberations of any of the camps feels like a very like for the human race kind of thing.
Yeah. That would be heavy, almost overwhelming to see something like that go down.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's the point. I think that that's another one of those things when we get to thinking about it, is like the perspective,
Yeah.
right, that we have, you know, being in the US or wherever you are, like I work remotely, I'm on Zoom, right, all the time. And when you become detached from like, you know, humanity,
Yeah.
I think that bringing that every so often is a good perspective shift.
And I think that's the irony of what we lived through with COVID, was that we knew we could be connected through these devices, but we realized that we needed community. We needed to have that human community around us in a very different, more magnanimous way. It's a very ironic moment, but it's pretty good. So Gabbie, if anyone out there wants to hire you, learn more about you, anything pertaining to your world, where's the best place for them to go?
Start with Instagram
Okay.
right now. That is where I share a lot of my life, a lot of who I am, who do I think I am, what is going on, what is coming up. And that is at the Profit Mama. Very, very simple. Not profit like PHPROFIT, right?
Yes.
Mama, MAMA. So that's the best way. That is me. That, you know, if you DM me, I am seeing that right away. So
Excellent.
reach out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gabbie, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being open. Such wonderful answers. There was a lot of thinking going in. It was awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you for making me think today. Right? For like asking the questions I've never been asked before. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Take care.